The Brickmakers is one of the most popular and best-run music venues in the UK. Don't take our word for it, just 2 years ago they won a national award for Best Music Pub of the Year. Owners Pam and Charlie, together with manager Emma, are celebrating a decade in charge and have hosted some 12,000 bands in those 10 years. Time for a look back at how this success came about. The story of the Brickmakers, as it is today, started when Charlie was just a little girl. This is her mum, Pam.
Well, it all started a long time ago when Charlie was very little, and she spent a lot of time with her grandmother, which was my mum, who was very musical, and she used to play the piano, and Charlie used to like getting on there with her. And we suddenly discovered that she had a great talent for music. She was playing drums in the first band. About 10, I would say. She started learning guitar at 10. There was nowhere that would actually let her play. I found it very, very difficult to get some encouragement for her to perform, which seemed ever so unfair when all the other activities, sport, tennis, whatever, they're all encouraged. Anyway, she stuck at it and progressed, and eventually she did get in a band and told few fibs about her age when she first started.
But it was when Charlie formed Pure Passion that things really took off. Charlie takes up the story.
Pure Passion, massive part of my life. Started when I was 17. I was singing in a duo, a local duo called Electric Dreams. Me and another young girl called Caroline, Kaz. One day I saw an advert in the paper asking for a female musician. So I applied, went along for an audition, got the part. They already had a singer, so Kaz didn't get actually in that band. But the band itself didn't particularly work out, but I was lucky enough to meet Sal there, and Julie and Dree, who all came to join me and Kaz, and we formed Pure Passion. That was how that started.
And then she was quite successful, and we were on the road for 5 years, travelling over Europe and all that sort of thing.
Something in the way I feel makes me want us to be real.
Built up a really big following, thousands of people on a mailing list. Then we entered a band competition. Didn't expect to win. We'd only been together a very short amount of time before we actually went to Earls Court and won that against 5,000 local, national bands.
The winner today, the winner of the 1995 National Battle of the Bands here at Live 95 at Earls Court are Pure Passion!
Won some studio time, went into Studio Psalm West in London where they did Band Aid. Massive experiences for a band so young. Really, really good. We had a great time.
And we always used to say, if we ever got an opportunity and we made the big time, we would have somewhere where young people, whatever age, no matter what talent they were, if they wanted to play, could play. Charlie had gigs in the Brickmakers, and one night over coffee, we'd heard that was coming up for sale, and we thought, well, let's buy it. And it's one of those late night silly things that you think you've got to do. And I don't know how, but we did do it. Emma has been a lifelong friend of Charlie, and she has great organisational skills. So between the three of us, we managed to turn it around and make it a nice, safe, friendly, family place to be, as well as a rocking joint, if you like. They rock to bring the rafters down. So
So hello, welcome to my world. This is where everything happens. This is my desk and the computer. And this is pretty much where all of the booking of all the bands takes place. We tend to get around 100 emails a day from different bands, and they can be local bands, bands from Manchester, Liverpool, and bands from abroad as well. You know, we've had bands from all over the world, Germany, France, Holland. One of the things we set up a while ago was touring bands that get in touch. We put them in touch with bands that we think that they would match up with, and we try to arrange gig swaps. So it was a way of getting Norwich bands gigs in other places that perhaps they weren't going to be able to get, because it's quite difficult. Often you email a place and they can't take you because you don't have a following. So we thought if we could set up the idea of the gig swap, then it would help bands to spread out across the country, and that's worked really, really well. Charlie, they've just emailed to say that they need a high res of that graphic. Okay. This is my little sound booth. This is where I am pretty much every evening. They let me in here at 7, let me out at 12, and I don't very rarely get out in between. I'm going to show you what I do. These are the lights in front. Everything is computer operated now. I'm just getting the lights ready for this evening. Everything's different every night. On a Wednesday we have acoustic open mic, so we kind of keep the lights pretty static. Things change quite a lot on a Monday, because we have 4 different bands on a Monday, so things are very different.
Well, this is where I would be most evenings of the week. Possibly not standing about, well, probably running about. I think you need to like people to do this type of job, because obviously you've got all different types of people, all different walks of life. Actually caring, I think, whether they're happy or not. And in here, if you didn't enjoy the music, or you didn't enjoy being busy, then you wouldn't last 5 minutes. Excuse me, I've just got to serve someone. I'll be a minute. I'll be a minute. Sorry, I had to just go and serve someone. The busiest night of the year in here is normally either a Brickfest or a New Year's Eve. And then you are running, you're on your feet quite a while. We can be serving 5 deep at the bar. So it's a case of sometimes pleasantries go out the window and you have to just walk along on anyone waiting and shout, can I help, as you go along, and then you'll get someone say, yes, me, I'm waiting. The Brickmakers, as much as we've turned it into a venue now, was always just supposed to be a pub. So when we took it on, it had the feel of a pub. It still has the feel of a pub, because it's used all day, every day, and then in the evenings they do the gigs. When we built B2, we built it purposefully, so it is literally only open when there's a gig on. So it's completely different. When you come in, there's no comfy seating, there's nowhere to sit down and just have a drink in the afternoon. It's literally built so that when you walk through the door, you're here to watch the band. Your focus is completely towards the stage. There's nothing to be focused on this end at all. You'd walk in, maybe get your drink, and then your focus goes to that end of the room. Seeing new bands is awesome. I would be lying to tell you every band I've ever seen is absolutely amazing, because that would just not be true. But there are times that especially on a new band night, you walk in and there's a band playing and you just stop. You stop what you're doing, you turn round. There ends up being all of us round the sound desk talking to Charlie about it, and it is really exciting. You still get that feeling of never heard them before, they've never played before, no one else has ever heard them before, and we get to do that. We get to then think about putting them on and hopefully getting them to a point where they can move on to bigger venues across the city and then hopefully across the county and the country.
There's something different about this pub. It's not just that they put on music, it's the way they do it.
My name's Zach. Tonight I'm just here to watch and listen to some music that I haven't heard before.
I think it must be about 8 years I've been coming to the Brickmakers, and I think it's an amazing venue, live music, and they're very unbiased, all different types.
It gets quite lively, which is quite cool, but I think it's a really good experience for people who play.
The thing about playing here is a big PA, nice light show, good capacity audience, and just a proper rock venue, you know.
I play at the Brickmakers every Wednesday on the acoustic open night, and it's really fun because I get to meet new people who are also playing acoustic.
There's always different music on every night you come.
I play here with my band, my son's band play here.
It can be big bands, so it can be really busy, or there can be small bands that people haven't heard of.
And good times had by all.
The whole reason for taking over the Brickmakers and their determination to give others a chance has kept music at the heart of all that they do. Charity events like Brickfest with over 35 bands in a day. The setting up of a second gig venue, the B2, have all helped play a big part in developing the success of the local music scene.
The reason we were here is because we wanted to provide young people with a platform to actually develop their individuality as musicians and, you know, learn to be who they wanted to be, whatever that might have been. And we feel we've done that, especially with B2, which is great because people can get in there and find out who they are, what they want to play, what music they want to play, the bands they want to be in. And it's great because we watch bands like, even from, say, the Kabides when they were like really, really young to what they are now. It's great because we can stand back and say, yeah, the part we played in that might have been really, really small, but we gave them somewhere to start.
The venue cares about its musicians too. Each gig has its own sound technician, lighting and video, with live feeds showing each venue what's happening in the other. People notice that, and it's all helped this place become part of the Norwich music scene folklore.
The people who run the Brickmakers are really friendly. They're quite used to introducing new people, so they quite like getting new acts and like young people to come and introduce, so it's really good.
For me, actually it feels like home, I have to say.
My phone was slightly low on charge tonight. They said, do you want me to charge your phone up? It's a very, very friendly pub. You always feel welcome.
Let me tell you what they're like. They're a family-run pub, a proper family who look after the bands, their customers and their staff.
With a mum and daughter team of Pam and Charlie, together with best friend Emma running things, it means that when a busy Friday night comes along, there's a special atmosphere, especially when Charlie's about to take to the stage.
Hi guys, welcome to the Brickmakers B2. I'm going to take you inside so you can see what's going on. Follow me. We've got Enigma on tonight. Come on in. These doors remain shut, but it enables us to have two different venues at the same time, which is really cool. If you come through the pool room, you see the other one. The older guys sit up this at the end of the bar because their ears are a lot more sensitive. If you follow me around, you'll see where I'm going to be playing with my band in just a sec. And there it is. You can do whatever you want, you like. Every boy that you know is somebody.
This is the main room. It's a busy Friday night. It's going to get a lot busier later. Full staff team on. Sound engineers in his little booth over there. It's all ready to go. By the end of the night, there'll be a good 200 people on that dance floor, all doing line dancing. So it started on something really soft and sweet, and I'm pretty sure it'll end on Sweet Child of Mine.
Just a girl born decent, lost to love and raised on the banks of a Mississippi mud. She's a rebel child and a preacher's daughter. She was baptized in dirty water.
I went and got my guitar for you, and this is one of my own songs, and it's called You've Got It Easy. You can do whatever you want, you like. And every boy that you know it sound fine.
It's a bit like oxygen, this place. You kind of breathe it and you sleep it every day. You don't get up and go to work, you get up and you live, and the Brickmakers is life.
The biggest thing in Charlie is her personality and her love of music. and sharing that enjoyment with other people.
Some things that I will never know. Like when you have that phase where you let your hair grow.
To me, it's home. It's where my heart is. It's everything. It's my family. This whole pub is a family unit, from the staff to the customers to me and Charlie and Pam to everyone. It's all just one big family unit.